Welcome to Showers from the Source. I'm Patrice Hunt. And this morning, my husband and I were just talking, and we had like a very vulnerable, very emotional conversation, just kind of about like where we are right now in life. And we both expressed some things that we're dealing with and things that where we really need God to like come in and reveal himself to us, as well as like to show up and bless us with a miracle. And then my husband prayed over us. And so like God really placed it on my heart that I needed to come on here today. I know it's not Sunday, but just because like last on Sunday, what we talked about was like having hope and um, persevering through during those times when you feel like God has promised you something and he's not necessarily coming through with that promise. And I gave a lot of insight and things that I felt like God told me to say, but I felt compelled to come on right now because I feel like I kind of missed the point because right now I feel like there's something that God has promised and there's blessings that God wants to give us. And I believe in that we're believing God for, but they have not yet come to pass. And it's a very difficult season because it's not something that we want. It's something that we desperately need. And it's not easy. And so I didn't want to just leave Sunday's message at that. I didn't want to leave it at like, have hope, trust in God. He's going to get you through because all of those things are true. But what's also true is it's not easy. It's not easy to have hope. It's not easy to trust in God. It's not easy when you know intellectually and spiritually that He's going to bring you through, but in your human emotions and your feelings and your thought process, you're like, but I need you to bring me through right now. That makes it a little bit harder. And so I just want to encourage you during this time and just say that I understand that it's hard. It's hard for me right now, but not because but negates everything you put before it. So, and I understand that it's hard and I understand that you can do it. I, it can be both. It can be that this is the most difficult and trying and hard time in your life, and that you are literally holding on to God with your fingertips because you just feel like there's no hope and there's nothing else left for you to do, and you can trust Him. Both of those things can be true. You can wholeheartedly believe that He's going to come through for you in the end and that He's going to work things out and that everything's going to work out for His good. And you can feel like I'm at the end of my rope. You can feel like there's nowhere left for me to go. Because I also believe that it's in those moments where you completely surrender to Him, when you recognize that He's all you have. I feel like that's the time that He really just reveals Himself to you even more because you are constantly leaning on Him, depending on Him because you have nothing else. And so I think that a lot of times when we are at the end of our rope, when we depleted all our resources except for Him, that's when He shines through the brightest. And it's not because, oh, He comes through better when we depleted all our other resources. I think it's just because we focus on Him more once we've depleted all of our resources. So, um, I don't want to, I definitely did not want it to seem like I was taking whatever it is that you're believing God and trusting God for lightly, as you wait patiently or impatiently or hectically or whatever the case may be. Even if you only have faith the size of a mustard seed, you have faith, you know? And I didn't want it to come across like I was not taking the emotional toll and the toll that it takes on you mentally and physically as you go through these seasons in life. I didn't want to make it seem like I was taking that lightly because I don't, and God doesn't either. And I think He has the luxury of knowing eternity past, present, and future. And unfortunately for us, we don't. I think a lot of times if we did, it would make things easier. and harder. Like, I think that some things, if we knew that, oh, he was going to fix it on this date and this time in this way, then it wouldn't take the faith. We wouldn't have to exercise that faith muscle to get through it and get to that time and day. And then in other things, I think if we knew how he was going to fix it or what it was going to take for us to go through, I think that we would say, no, I didn't sign up for this. I don't want to do this. So it's a benefit sometimes that we don't know what he's going to take us through. Um, and it can be very taxing and hard mentally and physically and emotionally because we're just human. We're flawed and we function off of what we know. And God functions off of something so much more amazing because it's what he can do and he can do all things, you know? And so I really just want us to remain hopeful. And I want to say that I know it's not easy to do so. I know that if you're trusting and believing God for a baby and you've been doing that for years and you're still dealing with infertility, it's really hard to trust God. I know if you're trusting God for something financially, for a financial blessing, and you've been dealing with it for a while, and things are now getting to where the rubber meets the road. And if He doesn't do something right now, you're going to lose your house or you're not going to be able to feed your kids. I know it can be difficult to keep going. If you're trusting and believing God for a mate and you're lonely and you see other people in your sphere of influence and your sphere of view getting married and having relationships, and that's not something you're having, and you feel like you're getting older and older, and you're wondering if that's something that God even has for you, it's not easy to continue to hope. But I definitely want to pray for you in each of those areas because regardless of what you're waiting for God for, whether it's something big like a cure for a disease that you're dealing with or something small in somebody else's eyes, it's still big to you because it's something that you need and you're trusting and believing God for. So I just wanted to make sure that I didn't gloss over the emotional toll that it takes on our human frail bodies to deal with things that we're trusting and believing God for, and to deal with the choices that He's made and the things that He's decided to do in our lives, and just things that have been done to us from humans and just from living in this broken world. I don't want to diminish that. I don't want to diminish that. But and what I do want to do is pray God into those spaces where we feel like we're at the end of our rope. I just really want to encourage into those spaces. I just want to pray God's presence and His deliverance into those spaces in your life. In 2 Corinthians 12, Paul quotes Jesus saying, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." And that encourages me because when I am weak, He is strong. And it just lets me know that His grace is enough. Even though in my human frailty, it seems like it's not. Even though what I'm going through, how hard it is, it seems like it's not. Even though I have to continue to get up every day and deal with the same things over and over and over again, and I'm getting weaker and weaker and more run down and run down and run down. And it seems like it's not. It is. His grace is sufficient for us, and His power is made perfect through our weakness. So just keep holding on when it's not easy, when life seems like it's just lifing, as the young people say nowadays. Just trust Him, believe Him. And when you get to the end of your rope, just ask Him for a little more rope. Just pray and ask for a little more rope because I know it's hard. Life is hard. Life is so hard. But I just trust Him. And I pray that you do too. I pray that you trust Him to perfect His strength within you through your weakness. But sometimes He allows us to go through things in such a way that it just makes us stronger for the next obstacle. Sometimes He allows us to go through things because it prepares us for the blessings He has to come. And so I just pray that as you wait, that you wait with Him, that you exercise your faith. I work out. And so one of the workouts that I do is with on the Peloton, and Jess Sims was explaining how when you work out, when you lift weights, that what's happening is you're creating micro tears in your muscles. And then when your body heals those micro tears, in those tears where they're healed, you're stronger. And so that's what exercising our faith is. When we go through something hard, life is creating little micro tears in us. But then as we heal, as God heals us, we're made stronger in those areas. And so I just pray that you would just remember through your weakness, God's power is being revealed. And I just hope it blesses you. And I'm so sorry if it's something that you're going through, that you're dealing with, and you feel like it's really taking you to the end of your rope. I'm so sorry you're having to deal with that. And I pray that God will give you mercy and grace in that area and favor in that area. And I pray that He will strengthen you in that area and give you peace in that area. Thank you for taking time out of your day to hear what I have to say. And I hope you have a blessed day. See you Sunday.